Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman visited Washington, D.C. last week to attend the spring annual meetings of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, World Bank. The meeting was attended by finance ministers and central bankers from across the world. The finance minister's visit was crucial in the backdrop of geopolitical risks and uncertainties. The role of fiscal and monetary policies to address the concerns of macroeconomic uncertainties was discussed in the meetings. The fiscal policy has remained accommodative in the post-pandemic times. However, the monetary policy has started responding to the mounting global inflation by central banks increasing their policy rates. Increase in the policy rates can adversely affect the growth recovery process. The spring meetings discussed the crucial role of fiscal and monetary policies to avert a prolonged global recession. The meetings also confabulated on coordinated efforts required across countries for climate change commitments. On the sidelines of the spring annual meetings, the finance minister attended several bilateral engagements with her counterparts from G20 countries and heads of other delegations. The Indian Finance Minister and Reserve Bank of India Governor Shaktikant Das jointly chaired the second G20 Finance Ministers and Central Bank Governors FMCBG meeting. Around 350 delegates from G20 members, 13 invitee countries, and various international and regional organizations participated in the meeting. They engaged in multilateral discussions centered around a broad spectrum of pressing global issues, including the policy coordination between fiscal and monetary authorities to avert deep recession. The focus of the meeting included food and energy insecurity, managing global debt vulnerabilities, strengthening multilateral development banks, mobilizing finance for climate action, and accelerating progress on international tax and financial sector issues. Ms. Sitharaman also attended a roundtable on investing in the India Decade organized by FICCI and the US-India Strategic Partnership Forum on the sidelines of the spring meetings of the WB-IMF in Washington, D.C. The finance minister also met with her Saudi counterpart Mohammed Al-Jadaan on the sidelines of the meeting. The Ministry of Finance stated that the two ministers discussed the World Bank Evolution Roadmap. They also discussed the report of the expert group on strengthening the multilateral development banks constituted by India during its G20 presidency. The ministers also talked about global inflation issues, including spillover effects of measures taken on the growth prospects of developing and low-income countries. The urgent need to tackle increasing global debt distress and improving the implementation of the common framework was also part of their discussion. Ms. Sitharaman also addressed a function at Peterson Institute for International Economics in Washington, D.C. She has said that India is focusing on skilling and digitization so that there is greater ease of living, transparency and formalization of the economy. She said India is attractive because of its skilled youth and large domestic market. India is poised for a more important role in the global value chains. She also said India's growth is sustainable as it attempts to accelerate its manufacturing sector. The finance minister said in G20 there is an opportunity for India to bring all countries together to address debt distress in middle-income and low-income countries. Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman also participated in a high-level event on Sri Lanka's debt issues. Mr. Suzuki Shunichi, Finance Minister of Japan, and Mr. Emmanuel Moulin, Director General of the Treasury, France, and Mr. Shehan Semasinghe, State Minister of Finance, Sri Lanka, were present in the meeting. Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe, President of Sri Lanka, participated virtually. The purpose of the event was to demonstrate the multilateral cooperation regarding the debt restructuring process among the creditors, together with Sri Lanka. During the event, the ministers announced the launch of the debt restructuring negotiation process on Sri Lanka under the three co-chairs, India, Japan and France, to lead coordinated debt restructuring of Sri Lanka. The finance minister reiterated India's commitment to support Sri Lanka in dealing with its current economic crisis. She emphasized that a collaboration among creditors is important to ensure transparency and equality in treatment of all creditors in the debt restructuring discussions. Ms. Sitharaman remarked that public debt restructuring and the significance of medium-term fiscal consolidation are coming up as one of the significant global agenda in the post-pandemic world scenario.